So, how's your week? Wow, Jess.
Start over.
No.
No, babe.
No.
No, that's unprofessional. You
No,
cannot
that's
have.
going in there.
No, babe.
Yes, it's
No,
going in
with the
there.
sheriff. No, that's unprofessional as anything. No, no. He's gonna be like, "What kind of jokester did I just do this podcast with?" Try again.
No.
Yes.
What?
Yes. I don't care.
I'm keeping it.
In a side file.
No, it's going in there.
No. No.
Then why did you burp?
Cause it came out. What do you
Okay,
mean?
okay,
You
okay.
just think I meant to do it on purpose?
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully soon you can join me in doing these interviews.
I know, interviews in the wild.
Yeah. Because we had the baby.
Yeah, he's holding me back a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
No, yeah, it's cool.
For good
It's cool.
reason.
Yeah.
He can be
So,
our third co-host.
yeah. Well, welcome back everybody. Thanks for joining us today. It's PS and
Jess.
welcome back to the podcast.
Yes.
This week, I had a really good talk with the sheriff of Prince William County, Sheriff Hill.
Yeah.
Real cool dude. Real cool dude. Real old school. He has that real old school feel to him.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't think he'd admit it, but he's handed out some ass whoopings.
Gotta do what you gotta do sometimes,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, I couldn't imagine. He's been in his career. He's been in law enforcement 53 years.
Yeah, that's wild. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How old is she? How old is mom?
58.
58. So yeah, he got into law enforcement when she was 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
69. 1969.
Yeah,
Mhm.
'cause he can't. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's that's a long time.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah. I thought I had a long career truck driving for as long as I drove trucks,
Mhm.
but now I'm in the profession that I'm in now. But yeah, we had a good conversation. Um, hopefully next time Jess will be joining me on the interviews because she's had to stay home with the baby. So,
Yeah.
but
You
yeah,
can't really be around people like that yet.
yeah, I know.
Gotta keep them sheltered for now.
So yeah, you ready to tune into this interview?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm excited to hear it.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoy the interview. Don't forget at the end of the video, subscribe, like, comment, share. It helps us out a lot. Even you can comment even with an emoji. So
Police
yeah,
officer emoji.
yeah. But nobody, come on, y'all gotta comment or share it or subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe. I'll say it again. Subscribe. Not just playing. All right, guys. We'll let you go for this episode, and we hope you enjoy the interview. Thank you for joining us on the PS and
Jess.
podcast. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Peace. I've seen you on several occasions. As a matter of fact, the day that I came to drop off our marriage certificate, I talked to you out in the hallway.
Okay.
I think, but I don't expect for you to remember because you talk to
I
so many
do
people.
talk to a lot of people.
Yeah. So
I enjoy talking to people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, how how do you feel about your career at this point? Like, what's your career has just been incredible. I mean, the first black officer to be in the Manassas City Police Department,
Correct.
the first black sheriff Prince William County. Like, how does that feel
Well,
to
first
you?
of all, I'm blessed. All right. I have been blessed in a lot of ways, right? Blessed with parents that raised me the right way and always taught me to do the right thing and care about people. And when I got into law enforcement, I was accepted by my colleagues. They were very helpful and very supportive in helping me. And of course, I've been surrounded by good people, and I get good advice from people too. I like to talk to people. When I mention talking to people, sometimes I do forget who I've talked to, but I've just been incredible, been blessed to have a great staff to work with. We work together to make sure we meet our mission and give the best service possible to the citizens that we serve.
Been in law enforcement over 50 years.
Yeah, over 50 years,
Yeah,
and we'll put it around. How about 53? That's a good number.
yeah,
That's a
53,
good number.
right?
That's a good number.
And the influence I think that you've had on the community has been big. And I say that because I mean, even I don't talk to very many law enforcement officials or anything like that. You know, because of the way that things are nowadays. But I will say that I've mentioned this a lot when when we were doing this. You're one of the very few people that I know of that actually will stop and have a good conversation with somebody. Because
Right.
I've talked to you at the 4th of July
Okay.
parade in Dale City. In the hallways here, I even talked to you when the protest was happening here in front of the
Okay. Okay.
courthouse. Um, and the conversation has always been good. Um, how do you see print from the time when you came to Prince William County in the 80s? I believe it was when you were
In the
at
60s,
Vin Hill in the
late
60s. I'm sorry,
Right.
68.
When I first got here, when I was in the army. Yes.
Yes, at Vin Hill.
Right.
Um, how, the county then and how it is now. What are you most proud of for Prince William County?
I, I think I'm most proud of because first of all, we are a safe community, and we are a diverse community, and we're a well-educated community, and I like living in that type of community. Also, it's a great community to work and raise a family. So, and I watched the county grow over the years, and of course, my focus certainly has been on public safety. And I've worked with a lot of public safety people over the years, and I can tell you, they were truly committed to making our community one of the best and safest community, not only in the Commonwealth but in the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
So fluid,
Right.
I believe, because, um, for example, what we got going on now in the county, you know, with all the stuff that's going on, and I understand you as sheriff are in charge of other
Right.
things that go on in the county as far as court, civil proceedings, and stuff like that. Um, but you've also done your part. Yeah,
Yes.
you've done your part. One thing I want to touch on is a program that you had while you were superintendent of the jail
Yes. Okay.
and the mines program.
Yes. The mind doing program.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And I wanted to ask you about that. Me, I'm a convicted felon.
Okay.
I've been through the system before. That time, things were a lot more different in the system, where it was easy to do things like that. You know, especially when you're superintendent and have
Right.
volunteers and
Right.
everything. But I believe this day and age, it gets a little hard. Like, for example, for me, me and my wife started a nonprofit organization called Second Chance Outreach, where we even adopted a road here in Prince William County to give people that do need to do community service an avenue to get community service done, get them job placement, get them some help, cell phone, you know, cheap cell phone if they need it and everything. But the county, I believe, kind of made there's so much red tape that you have to go through in order to help sometimes. And the only people that we have to turn to is our elected officials,
Right.
are,
Okay.
are the leaders of the community. What what I'm going with that is there anything that the sheriff's department is doing now or have plans to help our police department, the Prince William County Police, or anything like that, to slow down the rate of recidivism or new programs or just the ability to have other community members help people that are coming in and out of the system? Because I believe it's hard. And what I mean by I believe it's hard is um, I on your website you have volunteer the application to volunteer for you have volunteer opportunities for the sheriff's
Yes,
department.
we do have some. Yes.
and you have to pass a background check, and
Yes.
for things like that. When somebody sees I got to pass a background check, but I have a criminal history that's more than 20 years old,
Hmm.
but I want to help.
Right.
I think that deters people from actually trying to do more work in the community because they're like, man, they're not going to let me help because I'm a felon. They're not going to trust me. They're not going to do anything. Um, and it becomes very, very difficult for help to come in because you can't tell a drug addict how to quit drugs if you're not a drug addict yourself.
Understand.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I believe if there was more people out there that had the opportunity to help in their community, that would be a little bit more helpful. And I bring this up because you you did a lot of work in prison ministry for the jail and everything, and the program that it's the little things. And
Hmm.
me as a convicted felon, I want to tell you face to face, I really appreciate you doing that
Hmm.
because there's not a lot of people out there that do
Hmm.
that. Um, and it's just it's a very sensitive subject for me because I know what it's like to go through that, but I also know that the most important ingredient, I believe, to slowing down the rate of recidivism here in Prince William County is support. A lot of these people don't have support, and I've tried to do my part to do that. How do you feel about programs like that and stuff
Well, first of
like
all, I want to thank you for um, changing your life because that's one of the things that the jail prison ministry is probably one of the missions is to change lives. And when I was a jail superintendent, I recall talking to the chaplain one day. I said, you know, we have a captive audience here.
that?
We need to do more to help them. And I want the programs to be a faith-based program so that we can cover a lot of life changes for people. Some of the things that we can prepare people that perhaps they didn't get before they came to jail, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to put together a great program called the MIND program. It's called Men in New Direction. And of course, later we implemented a program for women, WIN program, Women in New Direction. And I've received a lot of positive feedback over the last 25 years from inmates just like you
Mm-hmm.
that benefited to the program and went out into the community and start doing great things not only for themselves but for the community. I recall when I was running for sheriff in 2003, you know, I visited a lot of churches and I saw former inmates in churches, and they were there because of the volunteers that came into our facilities and was making a difference in the lives of people and wanted to make a difference in the lives of people once they were released from jail.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we are lacking now, and I'm talking about in the community, um, we need to get parents more involved in helping their children. I know a lot of people look for government to do certain things, and I think government should do some things, but we need to start with parenting. So when the kids do come to us, now we got hopefully they have a little bit of a background in what we expect them to do and what they should do.
Yeah.
It's like I believe in still saying yes sir and no sir. Now, some people look at me and say, oh, he's old school. But these are the small things. And sometimes small things can actually turn into bigger and better things when we start at the bottom, the foundation, who we are. Uh, Also, I'm a big stickler on how you dress because that sends a message to your community. I know sometimes people want to do certain things so they can fit in. I understand that. You know, I was a teenager at one time. I knew, but I guess I was a kind of a different teenager because I was one of those kids that, you know, I tried to set the trend to do certain things. I
Yeah.
had some classmates. We were talking about this not too long ago, and they were talking about me because I've always been this way. I like people, and I like helping people. Um, we do have some programs at the jail, but these programs are mainly community programs that we can get out and do our child ID program,
Mm-hmm.
our senior program. We have some programs designed like our like I say, my senior program and my child ID program. A lot of these programs are designed for community, but I don't have a program that really focuses on going out and dealing directly with the youth in the community. I know there are a lot of organizations out there, a lot of men's program and women's program that help people. Now we do have programs to help people with placement once they leave the facility. I'm still involved with the jail in those programs to find jobs. We have a job fair at the jail. I don't think we've had one since COVID. I think one is planned for this year.
Okay.
And we bring in businesses and different organizations to help people transition from the jail to the community and stay involved with those volunteers to help them be better citizens in
Yeah.
the community.
All the events that I've ever gone to when it comes to the community, for some of the I believe you guys have a table sometimes at the. They just started it a couple years ago. The community fair at the Prince William County Complex Center.
Probably yes. Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen you guys do a few of those programs. The program that you had in the jail and everything. I did a lot of research. You're on the board for the jail.
Yes, I'm the chairman of the jail board.
The chairman.
And probably because I am probably more familiar with jail operations.
Yeah.
And of course, it's one of my passions too.
Is there anything in the future when it comes to, has anybody brought anything to your attention for programs that could better help people that are coming back into the community,
Uh,
or anything like that? I mean, because I'm only saying this because when something happens in Prince William County
Right.
and it goes out on the internet, a lot of the community members are saying, what's the county doing? What is going on here where we're having a shooting every other week? And I know that's a lot of that has nothing. And you're not really, you are a part of that, but
Right.
you have your job as sheriff.
Right.
But also at the same time, you are the longest elected
Hmm.
official in
Right.
Prince William County, and I do believe that you are a very highly respected man. And I was kind of surprised that you had that program in the jail when you were superintendent,
Hmm.
and that you still continue to be involved in that. But I'm just speaking as a concerned citizen. I think something more needs to happen
Hmm.
because this is the county that I grew up in. I learned diversity here. I learned a lot about myself here. I learned a lot of life lessons here. My family has grown up here. My parents are immigrants from El Salvador, and this is where we came.
Hmm.
And um, through the years, I've seen that with the reputation that law enforcement has, it's very hard to reach out to the community. And I believe that if law enforcement would allow more community members to be a part of this alongside with law enforcement, we would have a better response. When you speak on parenting, because you brought up parenting, there's laws now. It's like old school. In school, the teacher could give you a spanking,
Yeah.
you know?
My wife's a teacher.
Yeah. And uh, I mean, obviously you can't do that now,
No.
but there's parents out there that are afraid to discipline their kids because they're like, man, I'm not trying to get arrested for taking a belt to this child's behind for doing this. There's not a lot of discipline. I do get the whole parenting thing. I'm a strict parent myself.
Mhm.
I don't play that stuff with my kids. Reason being is because I want them to be involved in their community, safe, not only safe, but uh, trusting law enforcement. Even though I'm a felon, I still trust law enforcement, and I tell you why. Um, Long story short, I was doing a little bit of time for a stupid probation violation. It was dumb. Not here, in a different county. My father was sick at that point, and he had Lou Gehrig's disease. I'm sitting in jail, and you being a superintendent, a former superintendent of jails, know that this does not happen often. The day that my father died, a sheriff's deputy that knew me knew my history and stuff like that. I had arranged with a couple of other deputies to have me transported to Prince William Hospital to say goodbye to my father. No judge, no lawyer, none of that. They talked to the lieutenant, the jailer. They're like, hey, he needs to get there. That sparked a respect for me for law enforcement that I'll never forget. To that law enforcement officer, that deputy that did that, I still am in contact with that person to this day. I call them
Mhm.
every year, tell them every time something good happens in my life, I call them, I love you. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. The hug you gave me the sense that I'm not alone when I was in that. This is a deputy, and I'm a felon. That that I gained a whole new respect for law enforcement after that, and I realized not not all of y'all are the same. And I say all of y'all because you guys are law enforcement. You wear a
Right, right.
badge,
Hmm.
and I'm just a citizen. And our relationship right now is not what it needs
Right,
where it
right.
needs to be
Hmm.
at. And I feel that if law enforcement or elected officials were to push more on, hey, c- please be comfortable coming to us with these issues, and let's come up with ideas together to do this. Um, we can we can pave a path that is going to be smooth for people that are coming out of jail
Right.
or out of
Hmm.
the system. But we can't do it just by all the restraints we have. We just
Right.
can't.
You
You
know, I
know.
must tell you, I was recognized one time when I was a jail superintendent for doing the same thing that you just mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
taking a person to see his dying mother at her home in another county. And of course, one of the supervisors on the county board heard about it, and I think they may have known that family, and they were very appreciative in what I did. But what you just mentioned about your father, I've done that dozens of times to help people without a court order because I know sometimes when people in jail and the parents that I've talked to that did the right thing in raising the child, but that child made a bad decision, and they wanted to see their son or daughter
Mm-hmm.
before they pass. Um, I was always passionate about doing that.
Yeah.
And you know, when I was a police officer and detective, I made a lot of arrests and did some things that what I was supposed to do. But even today, former inmates that I arrested a long time ago still come by the office and see me and talk to me. I think one came by last week,
Yeah.
and of course his mother and family hated me, but he knew how I treated him, and I think some of the people that I dealt with convinced their family, look, he did the right thing, helping me during that time. So I think sometimes when you come in contact with people when they are in crisis, and you treat them the right way, they would never forget you.
Mm-hmm.
And they come by now and talk to me and introduce me to their girlfriends, their kids,
Yeah.
and some of them even their grandkids now want them to bring by and see me. So I understand what you mean, and it means a lot to people at that time when you take time to help them because they're basically there's no way you could have seen your father without them taking you there,
Yeah.
right? So and you will always remember that person. So I can, we don't have the time. I can tell you a lot of people that I run in contact with and still say, thank you for helping me put me in the drug dorm. Thank you for helping me get on work release. I did not qualify, but you took a chance on me
Yeah.
and put me on work release so I could start providing for my family. So I've always had a passion, not only for what I do, but also for helping people.
I understand.
Right.
There's 123 sheriffs in the state of Virginia,
Yes, it is.
and you rank number 7.
5.
Oh, is it 5 now?
Well, I mean, yes, 7, 7. That's
Yeah.
right. We tied with 5. That's it.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
7, 7.
Yeah.
You're right. You're
But
right.
the last time I checked, he was 7.
Yes, 7.
That doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
That's just not handed. And I as in all your years of law enforcement, I guarantee you've seen a lot, and
Mhm.
I respect you for that,
Right.
and I do same respect, and that's why I
Right.
wanted to
Right.
talk to
Right.
you. That's why I
Right.
wanted to have this conversation with you
Right.
because I see it
Right.
and I know it, and I know when an individual has a good heart.
Mhm.
Being an elected official is not easy.
Being an elected official, I don't consider that if you have the right mindset for what you want to do, the difficult part about it is getting elected. Then once you're there, you should make sure you keep your promises and do the very best you can to help people. Forget about the party that you're affiliated with. Do the right thing for the people because the people are the one that put you there. Yeah.
A lot of people go by what party you're affiliated with
Yes,
nowadays.
yes, yes.
A lot.
I work for the people. I go through the political process to get elected, which is very difficult. But
Yeah.
once I'm in office, every time I go, I always remember the people that put me here and what they expect me to do,
Yeah.
regardless of party affiliation. When we talk about law enforcement, you're right. Over the years, I have seen a lot,
Yeah.
but I've seen improvements in leadership, in supervision, training, community support. I've seen a lot of community support. I don't think the community support is probably there as much as it used to be because, as I mentioned, parenting. A lot of parents used to talk to their children about law enforcement, about the benefits, what they can do, trust law enforcement. I don't see as much now as I did before, so that has an impact on a lot of young people, the negativity that they feel about law enforcement. I say parenting is key with me. I mean, I will always look to parents first to help us. Right.
With that being said, um, I remember. I think it was the last. No, it wasn't the last time I saw you. This in 2020 when George Floyd happened.
Yes.
I was in the middle of all of that.
Okay.
Although from the time that it happened on 234 business with the big protest and
Right.
I was in the middle of all of that
Right.
mess.
Okay.
I was covering it, and there was people out there in the crowd that were yelling, "Hey, stop throwing things at law enforcement! Stop doing this." I didn't see that in front of the courthouse when they were protesting here
No.
because a lot of people respect you. And I say that because um, I you notice the change around you, where people are like, "That's a man of respect," and he's willing to have a conversation with you. He's willing to talk
I
with
do.
you, and we need more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're a perfect example of that. And I'm very, very proud as a citizen of Prince William County to say he was the sheriff of this county, and you did an excellent job doing it. And do you think this is it for you after this year? I mean,
Well, I'm running for office. Another
yeah,
4 years.
you're running for office,
4 years.
and
And I always take every 4 years at a time, and we do it at a time. I don't try to predict what I'm going to do.
yeah,
Like I say, I'm blessed. I'm in good health, and I try to keep myself in good shape because you have to keep yourself physically and mentally fit. So, and I try to do that. But who knows? I don't know. I don't know. When I started this journey, I did not know where I was going.
you just went.
I'm just go. And
Yeah.
sometimes you get to a point and you decide, well, I need to keep going. And I've had some retirement plans in the past, and none of them have worked out. So I quit planning now and
Yeah.
just continue to get up
Let
every
it-
day
just let it
and go to
go.
work. Go to work.
What do you want the people of Prince William County to know?
I want them to know that, first of all, I thank them for putting their trust in me to be the sheriff. And my promise is I will always, always try to do the right thing. And I hope that I can help other young law enforcement officers do what I do and feel the same way I feel. And I feel that I have an obligation to do that too. And I try to do that as much as possible because, when I talk to some of the people that used to work for me that's retired now, they say, thank you, thank you. I say, look, you still need to help me reach out and talk to young officers and let them know how much they are appreciated and be committed to what we're doing and be a mentor for young people in our community because we want to get more people in our business. It's difficult to attract and retain people in law enforcement. And that's one of my goals too, is to try to continue to do that.
Why do you think that it is?
When we talk about law enforcement and things in the community, it's not just one thing that makes us safe. It's a multitude of things. And it's a multitude of things that why people wouldn't want to get into law enforcement. One, we work shift work. A lot of people do not like. They want to be off. They don't like working nights, weekends, and holidays.
Hmm.
And I've had some people tell me, well, I don't really not like people telling me what to do. Oh, okay. Well, now we're talking a little bit different. Now, and I talked to some people. They don't like. One of the things what we tell people when you come into law enforcement, you are an law enforcement officer every day, 24 hours a day. Even though you have a work schedule, you have to still conduct yourself the same way,
Hmm.
regardless of the hours that you work. Um, there are some people that may be friends that are doing things you cannot associate with them anymore. Some of them may be relatives of yours. You cannot do that and be an effective law enforcement officer. One of the things about trust is not only trust, I have to trust you when I see you, I have to trust when I do not see you for you to do the right thing all the time too.
Hmm.
So a lot of people don't like some of the restrictions, some of the I would say disciplines that we have in law enforcement. Some people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Right, right. And sometimes we look at the pay. Some people say, well, I can get me a job in IT and do some things, probably making a lot more money. I said, well, that's fine. That's fine. But we're still looking for people to come into law enforcement. I mean, I talk to a lot of young black men about trying to get into law enforcement. They say, and I will tell them about my experiences and what to expect if you do come into law enforcement because it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right.
And I also believe when it comes to the pay, the county just, I think, recently gave Prince William County Police raise a little
Yeah, they
bit
gave
of
the
a
police,
yeah,
but not other public safety, just
yeah,
police. Right.
yeah.
Hopefully,
That
they'll
comes soon.
hopefully they will
Yeah,
fix
and
that. Yeah.
I
Right.
think that was one of the issues because I mean a lot of the officers were leaving to the state Virginia State Police because I mean departments all over the state are competing
Right. Right. It is a
for
competition.
pay
It is. It
because
is. It
people
is.
people are like, dude, you're not paying
Right.
me enough to go out there and deal with people that hate me,
Well, and,
you
and
know?
plus, that's one thing about young people too. They do look to the pay. A lot of them
Yeah.
don't look at benefits, which I think benefits are really huge. Especially you're a father with 4 children, benefits mean a
Yeah.
lot. But a lot of young people don't look at the benefits of benefits.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I now that I'm older, my wife works for a bank and benefits are awesome.
Benefits are awesome. You're right.
It covers so much and it is awesome. And there are benefit I actually know one of your deputies
Okay.
and your one of your deputies uh saw me when I first came home from prison when I was doing community service work. Uh they were actually in charge of the community service
Okay.
program. And as a matter of fact, it's so funny. I ran into him this morning
Okay.
at the 7-Eleven when I was getting my coffee, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm going to talk to your boss right now." He goes, "Oh, really?" I go, "Yeah, man." And we caught up for about 10, 15
Right.
minutes, and he's one of those law enforcement individuals that I'll always remember too, because I
Right.
mean, we would sit down sometimes and have a chat
Right.
and just talk.
Hmm.
And I feel that if more officials were to do that, not at an event,
Right.
I'm talking. I just said this to somebody the other day. I just said this to a police officer the other day. If with the way that the media works now or stuff going out on the internet, I can't stop and have a conversation with a cop. Why? Because that cop doesn't want to talk to me. That cop doesn't want to say something wrong, and then it gets back to, oh, well, he said this and he said that. And plus, a lot of law enforcement officers are restricted from their higher ups. Hey, don't talk to media about this or that. That's why you have your public information office and everything like that. And that stops some police officers from just having a general conversation with a civilian or anybody on the community. And I say that because um, I believe law enforcement would have a little bit more better reaction here in Prince William County. Instead of a police, I'm being very frank about this and very transparent about how my feelings are about it. I'll see a police officer sitting in a shopping center on his phone. There's kids playing across the street. Why not go over there and have a conversation with the kids? Hey guys, you guys doing all right? Blah 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 blah. No, they don't do that. They sit in their car and they have a conversation, and they're on their phone, or they're just sitting there. I've actually seen one asleep. I mean, I hate to throw them under the bus or anything like that, but it happens. You
Right,
can't
it happened.
control
Right.
everybody. But if higher ups, elected officials, or lieutenants, captains, whatever, however the system goes, we're just say, hey guys, have a conversation with somebody at least once a day on your shift. Talk to somebody.
You know, I have to agree with you because one of the things that we do not get enough credit for is prevention. Things that we prevent. And I think having more contact with people probably
Would help.
It would help, yes.
Yeah.
So I have to agree with you. Yes, yes.
If
because because I know some of the feedback I get from just talking to people. Of course,
Yeah.
you know, I'm used to it. I've been doing it for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that we see now, people, you know, we have to hire our law enforcement officers from our community. And people as a whole now do not. You live in neighborhoods and apartment buildings and place. People don't talk to each other. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't.
It doesn't
So
happen.
it seems like it's part of our society. People used to say, especially I'm from the South. People used to wave at people when they go by the house.
Or
Hey,
when you're going down the road,
going
you
down
used
the
to see the
road,
hand on the
all right,
steering
you
wheel.
open the door for somebody. Hey, how you doing today, or something? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
some of those things I think is old fashioned that we need to do more of because that's the way I was raised. That's why I continue to do what I do.
And I believe that old fashioned needs to come back.
You know,
I'm one of those big. Man. I could sit.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like you. I can sit down and have a conversation with somebody that I've only known for 5 minutes,
Sure.
and we'll start talking like we've known each other for years.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's why I bring that issue up.
And neighbors don't talk to neighbors.
They don't.
They don't. They don't.
But not only neighbors don't talk to neighbors, it's also neighbors don't talk to the people that are in charge in the neighborhood.
Right.
I'm not trying to. This is not at all putting a like, hey, law enforcement needs to do their job, blah blah blah. No, the community also needs to reach out to law enforcement
Sure.
and do that. But yeah, I think those are the one of the most important steps
Right.
is to actually have a conversation.
Right.
You know, like if you see a police officer, right? There's some people out in the community. I've done this before. I actually little secret of mine's on New Year's and Christmas. I call the non-emergency number for the call center, and I call and I tell them, I just want to call and I want to thank you for being there today on this holiday when you could be with your family. And I tell them that there's people out there that are thinking about them. I do that because, man, that gives somebody the sense that, man, there is somebody out in the community that loves me. Not loves me, but that actually is thinking about our job
Right.
and what goes on behind the scenes
And keeping us safe.
and keeping us safe.
That would be-
Exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I do that almost all the time. New Year's, I call. I work shift work too. I'm a funeral service intern.
Okay.
So I know how important it is. Like for my schedule, man, death has no schedule.
Right.
When it happens, it happens.
And you know, when you talk about schedule and having to work off hours, and you have a family, the family has got to adjust to your schedule too.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it's a family effort. And I've been blessed over the years for my wife and family to accept my schedule and accept those late night phone calls that come about, when things happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a family effort when you are a law enforcement officer. Yes.
Well, I really do appreciate
All right,
the
sir.
time you took today,
All right.
Sheriff Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheriff Glendon Hill joined us today on the podcast, and I really can't tell you how much I appreciate the conversation. Good luck to you this year.
Okay.
All the best of luck, and
All right.
please be safe out there. Thank you so much for the service, for your service to our community and to Prince William County and everybody else that you come across.
Well, thank you for coming and having this conversation. I
Thank you
enjoyed
very
it.
much,
And come back
sir.
again to see us.